lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on.
He missed the complete. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation 100 at Myrtle Beach Speedway, round 6, coming your way tonight in season 4 for the Christian Family Construction Outlaw Modified Series. And you're going to get to see all 100 laps unfold live here on the Global SimRacing channel and iRacing Live. Hi, I'm Sean Ambrose, and alongside with me in the booth tonight is Dawson Brock. In the director's chair tonight, we have our man Joe Peak on the job, twisting and tweaking the dials, and our camera sets, as always, are provided by the most elusive one, Dougie Beard. Folks, Christian Family Construction Services is a complete excavation service for new homes and additions in the Connecticut area. Call them at 860-428-5995. Listen, they can help you with a multitude of projects: land clearing, stumping, drainage systems, cellar holes, site preparation, grading gravel and stone driveways. If you need a new septic system installed, very important here in the Northeast, they can help you with that. They're licensed and insured in the state of Connecticut, and they're also a Connecticut licensed septic installer. Christian Family Construction Services, 860-428-5995 in the state of Connecticut. That's for all of our Northeastern viewers, and I'm sure they'd work out some kind of deal if, well, let's say they need to go over to Rhode Island or Massachusetts. I don't know. Give them a call. Check them out. Now, everything that happened in Las Vegas last week is a secret. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So, if you weren't there, you missed the whole thing. I am allowed to tell you this. Donnie Moore found victory lane again this season, and victory was sweet, like a daiquiri from Caesar's Palace. And tonight, the Outlaws roll into Myrtle Beach for one more trip through daylight saving time, and, well, let's go on down to the beach and talk to Dawson about this track here at Myrtle Beach Speedway.
Since its opening in 1958 as Ramby Raceway, Myrtle Beach Speedway has not only been the scene of great weekly action, but a springboard for stock car racing royalty. 4 generations of Pettys and 3 generations of Earnhardts started their careers at this South Carolina track. The semi-banked half mile is the home of the annual Myrtle Beach 400 and the Icebreaker 200 late model races, and hosts weekly NASCAR Wheel and All-American Series races, as well as various classes including late models, super trucks, and mini stocks. Tonight, we will see the Bootleg guys take their turn at the beach. Let's get a closer look at Myrtle Beach and take a ride on the GSRC SK Modified.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Brian Yazek, taking you for a spin around the Myrtle Beach Speedway here, the GSRC SK Mods. Without further ado, here we go. Quick guy. Down around the front stretch, kind of a swooping into the corner sort of situation. I'm going to let it float there on the bottom. Don't hit those rumble strips. It will make the car very, very loose and very, very unstable. Down here into turn 3, once again, kind of follow the dotted lines on the track. Kind of tells you the right way to go and what sort of angle you want to take into the corners. It's kind of like driving down the highway. Stay in your lane and you'll be all right. Back down here into turn 1 again, and a diamond off the middle. Try to drive it straight off. Don't get onto the power too fast. You'll end up plowing that fence down off of turn 2 and be a very quick day. Down here into turn 3 and 4 once again, coming off of the bottom, following those lines, off of turn 4 and across the line. That's going to complete our guide here around the Myrtle Beach Speedway. I'm Brian Yazek. Enjoy the show.
And that is another fast lap in the GSRC SK Modified. Speaking of fast, the fast man tonight is Tim Shanoski. Brother, you've racked up 2 wins already this evening. Talk to us about, your apparent love affair with this track.
Well, I didn't know I had a love affair with this track until before tonight, because I'd only driven here one time, so I didn't really have still don't have a lot of experience, But to pick up the wins in the street stocks and the late models is really a surprise, and I'm pretty happy about it.
Okay, well, tell us what's the trick here. I mean, since you're really rather new to it, tell us what you favor about this track.
Well, it seems to be really, right now, just seems to be one groove. So, I mean, you just really have to keep it on the bottom. So, I mean, I don't know if there's a trick to it. If there is, I'm not really sure what it is yet. But it's a fun track, but definitely seems to be one groove right now.
All right, now let me ask you something. In the turns, we see the white line down in the curbs there, and they've got these little what look to be little safety markers or bumps that come up out of the curb here in turn 1 and 2. Does the car feel that if you run over those all the way down there on that white line?
Yeah, you can feel it. It doesn't really upset the car a lot, although I'm going to try to avoid hitting them. But yeah, you do feel it, but I think you can get the left sides down there and it won't upset you too bad.
Well, we had a repeat winner last week. How do you like your chances this week for picking up your second win?
Well, it's going to be difficult coming from the back, but I mean, I'm not coming from the back. I can only go up, so I mean, just try to stay out of trouble, and if I can do that, then I can hopefully get a maybe a nice podium finish and be able to talk to you guys after the race.
Well, we'd love that chance. I'll tell you what, for now, we're going to let you get back in the car and take a few more laps out here. We wish you the best, Tim. It doesn't look like you're going to have too far to go. It looks like right now you've only got 11, so get out there and get them, man.
All right, thanks, Sean. Have a good broadcast, guys.
All right, Dawson, and that was Tim Shinosky, our interview for this evening. He won a race already this season, looking for more. He's fourth quick in practice right now, and well, Dawson, do you have those points there in front of you? You want me to roll through them?
Yep, sure do. We have our leader right now, Tim's brother, I think. I may have just, yeah. Well, he's in first place. He's got, yes, okay, good. Just didn't want to make that assumption and be wrong. Now, he is in first place right now with 58 points. Right behind him in second is Donnie Moore, last week's winner, able to cut into his gap behind Matt. He's only 3 back. Now, your big mover was Matt Hoos. He's up 2 spots all the way to third, 10 points back. Right behind him, though, Mike Holloway. And after rounding out the top 5 is your interview, Tim Shinosky.
All right. Well, good stuff, man. Now, the details of tonight's race, quite simple here in the Christian Family Construction Outlaw Modified Series. This is round 6 of 11. We've got 100 laps tonight, just like we do every Saturday night now. Here's the big one. We are inverting the grid from last week's finish. Our 10th place finisher will start on the pole. Now, who is that? Well, we'll talk about that in just a moment, because that fits into our race stories for the evening. Now, there aren't any pit stops scheduled. You've got plenty of fuel to finish this race, but let's say you have an accident, you twist the car up, and maybe it just won't drive. Well, guess what? We're going to give you one free repair. One chance to come in and repair the car, but don't change the tires. That will result in a penalty and the end of your race. So everybody instructed on how to remember how to do that. Dawson, we've got a great points battle going on. Let's talk about that for just a moment. Really, really deadlocked down there, third back through fifth, and sixth and seventh, just a mere 3 points back. This is going to be exciting down the stretch, sir.
Absolutely. I think early in the season we saw the two Shinoskis get off to a great start. Tim just a little bit of a shaky run last week, but still in this battle, only 14 points back. Donnie Moore with that win was able to really close that gap, and it's going to be, I think we're going to have a couple guys contending for it all the way up until race 11, right near the end.
Yeah, and when you're in these championship battles, it's like the best thing you can hope for is that you've got that big last race of the season, and nothing has been settled. It's going to come down to the last lap of the last turn. But looking at last week's results, it was Dustin Powers who finished 10th last week, and he will be your pole sitter this evening. Dustin is here and not on track at the moment, taking any practice laps, but he's here, and he will be our pole sitter this evening. Donnie Moore, by nature of his win, will be starting in 10th, and anybody who finished in that top 10 that's not here this evening, well, those positions will adjust themselves throughout the field. So Anyway, with about 5.5 minutes left here in practice, let's talk about the car and the track. Dawson, it seems like every week we've started to kind of ramp up the banking just a bit here over the past several weeks. And this week we go to a track that's got a little bit more banking in it, 13 degrees in the turns. And seems like we went from 9 to 12 and now up to 13. And pretty much the same deal on the straightaways here. But what makes this track rather unique?
Well, it's very wide, and we heard Tim talk about it has that one groove on the bottom, but there's still plenty of room for cars. Now, I think the one thing, just in my little bit of time, it's a relatively new track here to the iRacing circuit, but I'm really worried about it would be the wall on the exits. I feel like it just comes out and grabs you a little bit early. And, we also talked about them curbs and bankings, and Tim was talking about how you can drive your car down there and he doesn't think it's going to upset it very much. That'll be interesting to see if maybe some guys are going to use that to their advantage, get a little bit closer and a little bit less distance around this track. It's just a little new, and we'll see if any new strategies can come out.
Yeah, and another thing that's a little odd about the track is the front stretch. It's got a bit of a strange configuration to it. It's not straight, and you seem to be spending a fair amount of time turning left there down the front stretch as you work your way into turn one. And well, when you're racing under those conditions and you get side by side and try to make a move on anybody, anything can really happen there.
Yeah, absolutely, and it kind of almost looks like at Richmond or in Iowa, where it has that front stretch with that little bit of a bend. And this used to be a cup track way back in the day, so it kind of carries on that characteristic.
Yeah, and we're already seeing several cars having trouble coming out of turn 4. That we may need to keep an eye on this evening. It seems like that's where the grip is really lacking over there in turn 4. Another thing about this track that's quite legendary, I've talked to some actual real-world modified drivers that have been here before. This is a real cheese grater on tires here. This is an old surface on this track, and it is not kind to the tires, and we've got 100 laps to knock out here this evening. That's really going to be a big factor, I think, as we get deep into the run, and if you're racing hard early, that could be a big factor even sooner, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think you got to look at guys like Tim Szymanski. He's going to be starting near the back. Donnie Moore, last week's winner. They're going to have to be able to mix the pace of getting to the front and also saving tires. A couple of really quick laps around here, if you end up spinning the car out a little bit or anything, just could really upset these tires. And you got to make sure they got to last all 100 laps.
Yeah, they do, man. And I really think this track, especially if I remember correctly, last time we did see our share of caution flags last season when we visited here, and well, maybe with a few less cars tonight, we won't see that this evening. But tires are going to be a premium. Just 2 minutes left in practice. Let's talk about what it takes to get a lap done here. Right now, 18.519 is the fastest lap set by John Hine this evening, the Great Plains driver in the number 75. Really setting the mark for everyone. It seems like 18.5 is where you want to be if you wish to be quick here this evening. The rest of the times all within about 0.3 of a second of that through the field. So very close, very competitive field this evening. Who do you like tonight, Dawson?
Well, you know what? I think Matt Szymanski, I'm going to pick him. He's got a pretty quick time up there, and it's going to be starting kind of near the back, so we'll see if he's able to maybe make something happen and extend that points lead. He's only 3 back from Donnie Moore, and Donnie Moore will be quick. We'll see if Matt can gain a couple points and maybe get a little more of a cushion.
I'll tell you what. I think it might be time for a hat trick tonight. We haven't seen one of those in a while, and boy, Tim's been awful hot here this evening. I'm gonna continue to roll with Tim Szymanski. Let's see if we can get a little something there out of the 07 tonight, and maybe find his way to victory lane like he's done already twice tonight in the street stocks and the late models. And They run those two races just before this one on Saturday evening. Every Saturday night, the Bootleg Racing League in action. Find out more about them at bootlegracingleague.com. They're on Facebook. Just type in Bootleg Racing League. You'll find those guys. And they are taking applications for drivers. Sign up to run the street stocks or the late models with them on Saturday evenings. And, you know, if you're good enough, they'll call you up to run here with the mods on TV here on Saturday nights. So check them out. And you know what? It's just about time to go to the grid here. Dawson, I think we've got a good evening here. It's clear, 71 degrees on track, only 71 degrees outside. There's a little bit of wind, maybe gusting up to about 7 to 8 miles an hour. I don't think that's going to be an issue tonight. These ground pounders look to be strong. What do you say we call out the grid here, the Christian Family Construction grid, and our pole sitter this evening? That's going to be Dustin Powers and Matt Shinansky going to start on the front row with him, Dustin.
Row 2, you're going to see John Hine and the boss man, Lowell Jewell.
Row 3 going to be Brian Dean and Donnie Moore.
Row 4, Tim Shinansky going to go for that hat trick along with Jeff Kendrick.
All right, row 5 going to be Mike Allen and David Loomis. And the last car in the field is J.J. Garrett. He didn't turn any practice laps, so I'm beginning to wonder if Garrett's actually going to make the field here. We'll see as they all start to pop in here on the pit lane and get ready to fire them up and go around here for a couple of quick pace laps. And it does look like Garrett has made it in the car. Dawson, I'll tell you what, this short laps here on a half-mile track, this race has a lot of potential for green flag this evening. Folks, sit tight. Don't plan to sit too long because I think this one's going to be over quick tonight. All right, Dustin Powers on point here. Matt Shinansky going to start the front row with him. Pace car, go around one more time. As pace car pulls off early here, it pulls off at turn 3. And those guys don't get the green flag until they get to the commitment line out of turn 4. Take this ride down the backstretch here one last time. The Ford Mustang pace car leading him around. Watch out for John Hine, that's 75. Lurking back there in third, Lowell Jewell on the outside. In the number 5, Valvoline SK Modified. Here comes Dustin Powers in the middle of the turn. And now he's getting ready, and now he's on the hammer. There he goes, shot out of a cannon. Dustin Powers goes across the line. Here in the Chris Kyle Frog 100 this evening. And Powers off to a great start. It's John Hine side by side with Matt Shinansky back there. Everybody else behind still trying to sort it out, Dawson.
Yep, side by side we saw Matt Shinansky get a little bit of the wall there. Sparks fly.
And finding the wall early for Shinansky. It's John Hine that's been able to get away and rocket on up right behind Dustin Powers. They headed to turn 3.
Lowell Jewell's going to be stuck up on the high side. We saw he was able to start fourth. Matt Shinansky as well. They both started on that high side and struggled a little bit here on the start.
But Donnie Moore makes contact with Lowell Jewell as he was getting by. A little bit of Nerf bar action. Shinansky, Matt seems to be falling back just a bit. John Hine, Dustin Powers getting away just a bit here early. Matt Shinansky seems to be struggling with his modified just a little bit. And we've got a caution, and I think it was Mike Allen. No, it wasn't Allen. It was actually J.J. Garrett spinning the car, and Allen gets into him. Let's watch this on the replay, Dawson.
Yeah, and a driver here. Looks like he's just going to clip maybe a little bit of the curbing there and almost got into the back of Kendrick.
Well, let's go on board here. Go on board Mike Allen. See it just in front of him. There's Garrett in the 11. Yep. Yeah, he got that curb. Hit it just right. It lifts the car, spins him, and Mike Allen, unfortunately, nowhere to go. He does get into him. Mike decides to stay out, though. Everybody stays out. And there'll be no wave bys this time. We'd only gotten 5 laps in. Nobody had gone a lap down, so 11 cars have started. 11 cars are still on the lead lap. And there's only a couple of cars that have really gained a couple positions. John Hine, one of them, he'll get to start on the outside this time. Shinosky and Brian Dean there on row 2, so that's shaken up just a bit. Lowell Jules falling all the way back to 6th. He's going to have to start on the outside again. Lowell's going to need to find an opportunity to get in quick, Dawson.
Yeah, he just had a little bit of tough luck there on the high side, but he'll be up there again. So he had a little bit of a practice the first run. Maybe he'll be able to find a hole a little bit earlier.
This will probably be the last time by with the lights on the car. They'll probably go off this time. Again, there were nobody in the pit. Nobody needed a repair, so this should settle it. And again, when the pace car peels off in turn 3, it really puts a big burden on the shoulders of the guy there that's got to get him started. He has a long time to think about where he wants to go, and it seems like an eternity for the drivers around him trying to figure out what he's going to do. That time when we got the race started, it almost looked like Powers got started and then kind of slowed down and then got started again when it was really time to go. So let's see what he does here. And he's going to pace this field through turn 3 in the middle of the turn now. Got to get to the line when the green flag drops, and he's gone. Right there at the line, he gets on the hammer across the start-finish line. Dustin Powers down into 1, still holding on to your lead. John Hine breaks off in the 2nd. Matt Shadowski not wasting a whole lot of time getting back up in this fight. Brian Dean up there on the top side, trying to get something done, trying to find a way in line.
See, these guys are getting really close to that wall there in the backstretch. It's just a little bit worrisome. I don't know. It keeps catching me.
Is it heat in the tires at this point, or what do you think's getting them all the way up near the wall like that so early here?
As you see, Brian Dean is in the wall here.
Jeez.
Boy.
Yeah, you did talk about the track being narrow and the walls coming up kind of quick. I think maybe some of these guys just caught out. What are you getting caught out with that? What do you think, Dawson?
Well, I think it's just kind of the shaping. I think that the turn, it's not really a sweeping track. It's more of an abrupt end.
Battle for the lead. Sorry, buddy. John Hine gets up under Dustin Powers. Going to try and take him, but Powers going to battle back down the backstretch here into 3. Oh, Hine trying to dig down there on the bottom side. The car's loose. He's around. Oh, and that will bring out the caution. He couldn't stop, but the car backed up onto the track as the rest of the field was coming through, and it brought the yellow out. On board with Hine here, had just taken the lead. Back a few turns before that, was still fighting for it, and he just loses the rear end off of that bottom there. Too far down on the flat, Dawson.
Yeah, and I know we talked about this track being a cheese grater, and I wonder if it lacks a little bit of grip, and you kind of have to rely on your car to turn a little more than the track.
Yeah, I think you might have nailed it there. This is a fixed setup in this series, so they're running the iRacing fixed setup here for Myrtle Beach, and so that playing field level where that's concerned, you can adjust your steering ratio. That can certainly make a difference. Can loosen up the car, can tighten it up just a bit based on your driving style, but he just looped it right there and got it really, really far down on the flat spot of the track, and maybe just getting back to the throttle a little bit too much might have assisted with that, but that's going to put Garrett in the pit. He is Garrett just came into the pit for another pit. My bad.
He's been in there for a little bit, so it makes me wonder if something's gone wrong.
Yeah, I saw him move to the top of my timing and scoring real quick, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Where'd that come from? All right, so it's going to be Dustin Powers and Matt Shinosky to get us started like we did the first time when the green flag dropped. It'll be Donnie Moore and Lowell Jewell to fight there just behind him. Not a bad way to get this race started. It seems like some of the principals of the league have kind of found their way already up here into podium spots. Tim Shinosky knocking on the door back there in 5th. He's up a couple already. David Loomis having a pretty decent start to this race. He started 10th. Finds himself in 7th already. Not going to be any wave arounds this time again. Should JJ Garrett get back out on track, he would be eligible for it. But that car is still sitting in the pit. The lights are out and we are ready to go, Dawson. Pace car is off the track. Dustin Powers going to restart this race again. This will be his 3rd start here from the point. And he's waiting, and there he goes. Dustin Powers back to it. Back across the line and still in the lead. Now Donnie Moore is the one fighting down on the bottom. Matt Shinosky up top there, wheel to wheel here, coming down the backstretch. Matt Shinosky going to dive in there. Nothing for him, not yet. Dustin Powers was a little tight off the turn there. Shinosky going to roll it up high. Oh, gets that north bar down on him. Yep. Here comes Donnie Moore. Watch out. There's Tim coming to help his brother out.
Oh,
Donnie's
spinning.
around. Donnie's around, and Lowell got him. Lowell had nowhere to go there. Lowell had the momentum. Donnie had lost it, was going around. You're going to see Lowell catch him here. Lowell in the 5, Donnie Moore in at number 26. It's kind of like that spin we saw before, Dawson.
Yeah, the same spot. I have to take note of that and watch out for that.
I think the track really flattens out there during a turn, down at the bottom of turn 4. You're going to see it right here. I really think it's a situation where you're trying to get back to the throttle a little bit, and he just loses the rear end ever so slightly, and impossible to stop it from going around. It got to its tipping point, and boy, sad to see that from him, but Donnie gonna live to fight another day. John Hine and Mike Allen in the back of the field, they have both come in and gotten repairs on their cars. Moore going to slip all the way back to 10th place. JJ Garrett has taken his car behind the wall. Unfortunately, he had a problem with his connection and is now left the server. So we've got 10 left going here. Your top 5 going to be Dustin Powers, Matt Shinosky, Tim Shinosky, up to 3rd finally. He's in that podium spot he talked about in his interview. Lowell Jewell in 4th, and David Loomis, another driver, having a great run here, up to 5th. Dawson, we're going to lose those lights on the pace car again. Nope, we're going to go around one more time. Okay, I thought we were going to lose them there that time, but we'll go one more here. We're on the back stretch, heading on down to turn 3. Dawson, I'm sorry. I just tried to call you Dustin. Man, I'm losing my mind here tonight already. We're only quarter way through this race. We got a long way to go, Dawson. Well, what do you do if you're Matt Shinosky here at this point, starting on the outside? Do you try to get in behind Tim, let him grab onto the bumper, and maybe the two of you go get him a little bit later down the track? Or if you're Matt, do you try and fight him for that spot?
I think what you're going to want to do is get as good of a start as you can and hope there's a hole on the bottom. And if Tim is going to get a good restart, then you're probably not going to see that happen. You're going to see him probably go battle with Dustin Powers.
All right, well, here we go. The battle is back on. Dustin is the control man once again. Matt Shinosky gets started on the outside. Tim right behind. Dustin Powers, and Dustin's going to get it going again where he has every time tonight. And he's still your leader across the line. Tim Shinosky gets a nice break back there. Matt gets a decent one up top, but not good enough. Can't slip in yet. Now Tim trying to clear out a little space for him to get in there. He does. Matt gets down to the bottom, right in behind Dustin Powers. Tim Shinosky stuck back there, wheel to wheel with old Jewel.
Going to get a little loose into the entry of that corner.
Yeah, he did. Boy, Dustin Powers had a lot of trouble coming out of 2. Lost a lot of momentum, and here comes Matt Shinosky, bringing Tim with him. Matt all the way up top. Saw him get so close to that wall coming out of 4. Makes a hard left turn. Here we go. Oh, boy. Dustin doing everything he can to hang on to that modified Dawson.
Yeah, and you got 2 Shinoskis chasing you. You got to look in your rear view and start sweating a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of full. Oh, Matt with trouble. Matt Shinosky with trouble. Runs all the way up the hill, all the way to the wall. Lowell Jewel moves at the track, breaks his momentum just a bit. Jewel up to 3rd. Here comes Tim Shinosky. Oh,
Brian Dean spinning.
Dean spinning off of 4, and guess what? I think every time we get a spin off of turn 4, we're going to see that caution flag, because guess what you see right there? Not a lot of clearance there between the track surface and the wall. Here's Dean. He's going to, well, he's in our favorite spot. Another car snake bit down there in the bottom of 4. I'm going to say it now. That's probably where you don't want your race car.
Yeah, I think as a driver, after seeing a couple guys spin in that same spot, you're going to want to try and get as far up the track and away from that spot as possible.
All right, well then, tell you what, with that coming out, that caution flag, 30 laps into this, it took a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back here with the Bootleg Racing League on the Global Sim Racing channel. Tonight, the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation 100 from Myrtle Beach Speedway is underway and about to get started again. The pace car is off the track. Dustin Powers and Tim Shinosky going to get them started here. Dustin is going to look to hit the pedal right about now, and there he goes. Back to the line, Dustin Powers, your winner here I'm sorry, your leader here. He hasn't won anything yet. And we've got an instant battle just behind it. Lil Jewel almost clips Tim Shinosky there as they come off of turn 2.
Gonna get single file early this time.
Tim Shinosky going for his 3rd win in a row this evening. Won the street stock race, won the late model race. Looking for a little more here in the modified. Seems to have this track figured out. It's all about Dustin Powers right now, though. He has led every lap of this race. Matt Shinosky back there in 4th. Had a wild ride coming off of turn 4. Looking through the field, I don't see anybody really battling here at this point. It is up front. That's where the show is at. Tim Shinosky working on a way to get around Dustin Powers. Matt Shinosky trying to figure out the puzzle that is Lowell Jewell.
Riding on board with Lowell.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Lowell, just seeing, you look in front of him, Tim Shinosky taking a really low line that time.
Yeah, well, we've seen what that low line will do. If it's too low there in 4, send you around. Great view, though, there from behind the wheel with Lowell Jewell. Starting to lose a little bit of ground here down the backstretch, though. Now he's going to get... Lowell seems to be getting a nice run into turn 3. That's where he's making up a lot of his speed. Matt Shinosky patiently following behind him. Nobody has seen a reason to pull out the chrome horn yet. Oh, and as sure as I say that, Tim Shinosky maybe takes a swipe there at Dustin Powers. He gets down on the inside. He crossed him over coming across the front stretch. And now in the back stretch, he's to the inside. He's got the position. Can he keep the momentum going and take it away? Oh, boy, Powers is going to win the drag race across the line. He's still your leader. Tim Shinosky still down there working on it. Hasn't completed anything yet. He is leading going into turn 3, but Powers is really making the center of the turn work for him. Boy, look at that car roll off the center and down the front straight. The front somewhat straight, not quite straight. Tim clearly in the lead here right now. Dustin, though, still fighting from the top. You see that turn, and he gets there into 3, Dawson. Impressive.
Dustin gonna get
and he
loose.
slips. He slips, and Tim Shinosky now in control of this race. 45 laps in the books, 55 to go. Tim Shinosky looking pretty good. And we're hearing Matt Shinosky got a piece of the wall coming out of turn 4 down the front. Don't see any damage on the car. We see that week in and week out, though. Sometimes you can climb the wall and walk away without any damage. It doesn't mean the car may not be handling bad. Back here watching Donnie Moore. Donnie trying to get a position here away from John Hindawson.
Yeah, you know, when we talked to Tim earlier, he was talking about just one groove. But we saw Dustin Powers put on a great fight up there on that top side, and Tim was not able to get enough of a run off of the corner. He wasn't able to mash the gas. We've seen when guys mash that gas, they end up spinning off the corner. So I think you're going to see more of this side-by-side racing.
Yeah, Lowell Jewell trying to take this away from Dustin Powers. Dustin led so much of this race and now has fallen victim to not only losing position to Tim Shinosky, but now possibly losing a position to Lowell Jewell. Lowell got the Valvoline SK Modified cranked up, primed for a position here on the podium. If Lowell just hung on right now to where he's at, he's having a great run. This battle behind him just doesn't seem to be developing, at least not getting close to Lowell or Powers or Shinosky. In fact, Shinosky starting to kind of step away a little bit. Got it up over to a half a second. Now he's just having fun out here in the clean air and able to stretch his legs a bit. Dustin Powers seems to have used up a little bit of that car here, Dawson.
As we look a little bit farther back here, Donnie Moore was just under attack by Matt Shinosky, and Mike Allen even creeped up into that battle for a little bit, but it looks like things have settled out a little bit more now. Oh, Matt's struggling with his car.
Yeah, he really is, man. Boy, a lot of promise for Matt early, and it just seems to be slipping away from him here at this point. It's not slipping away from Tim, though. Tim has looked strong, remained strong in the lead of this race. Dustin Powers doesn't have anything for him right now. Good news for Dustin is he's able to he's recovered a little bit. Lowell Jewell not really knocking on his door anymore. Lowell seems to have a handful with his car right now. So it looks like Lowell needs a break for maybe a 10 laps or so, and then maybe he's back into this fight. But right now, these three looking at looking like our podium here with we got 47 laps to go. We've seen several cautions already. We may see another one before this race is over. We may not. This could be that time of the race where they all just buckle down and keep running here, Dawson.
Yeah, and if you look at it from a tires perspective, that might not be the greatest thing. We had a couple of cautions early. Now the tires are starting to get a little bit of heat in them, and you're starting to get a feel on what it's going to feel like later in the run and where these tires are going.
Yeah, and I wonder if the situation with Powers was he had spent so much energy in those tires early in basically the first third of this race. Trying to keep his car up in the lead. You wonder if maybe giving up that spot was a little bit of strategy to try and recover a little bit, keep Tim Shinosky close, and then maybe fight another day here when we get with about 20 laps to go. Powers picking things up again here, starting to find the rear of Tim Shinosky. You see Dustin is pulled away from Lowell here, Dawson.
Yeah, we saw Lowell was even struggling a little bit, but if he can just keep a consistent pace, Donnie's another a second or so behind. So Lowell's in a great spot right now to get a podium finish.
Lowell's had a solid season here. Could, with a couple of breaks, he could be contending for this title. No one's even close to being mathematically eliminated from their chances to win this one this season.
Looks like Matt Shinosky going to make a move on John Hine as they go side by side down the front stretch.
Well, something didn't work out for somebody. I think it was David Loomis. He spins not really in our favorite spot, but just before it, Loomis spins around basically in the middle of turn 4. He's all by himself. There's the 91. I'm gonna call that one throttle management. Maybe trouble with the throttle management there for him.
I think maybe carrying a little bit of too much speed through the front of the corner in the middle.
Mike Allen had a scary moment there himself. We're on board with him. And you see him spin up there. It was a gradual thing, it started and it unfolded in slow motion right before his eyes there. Still no wave arounds. David Loomis going to bring his car in for repair.
And them spins are kind of the worst because you feel it coming and it seems like so long and there's nothing you can do because it's really hard to save. It's inevitable.
Yeah, it is. But boy, it's the worst feeling too when that rear end starts to come around and you've passed what I like to call the tipping point, and it's like, oh no, I'm going around. You just know what's going to happen. There's nothing you can do to stop it. The best thing to do, I think, in my experience, has been to see if you can spin it perfectly and get yourself back under power immediately as soon as that thing stops spinning. It's the pie in the sky scenario, but one that works best. In fact, it seems like we saw it in a Formula Renault 2.0 race yesterday afternoon here on the Global Sim Racing channel. maybe it was Tim Birdie or somebody like that, but they had spun their Formula Renault and were lucky enough to spin it in such a fashion that they spun it and they were back under power immediately, right back in the racing line. So, yeah, we didn't get that luck here, but we are now well past the halfway point, and it's time to talk about Tim Szymanski and his chances of winning this race. Come from basically the middle of the back of the pack. Got himself now up in first. Dustin Powers following in second. Lowell Jewell and Donnie Moore still very much factors here in the top 5. John Hine rounds out the top 5. And, John has had a decent evening, but just doesn't seem to be hooked up with this track. Sometimes you watch guys get around a track and, they have it or they don't have it. And this evening, it looks like the 75 might not have it, but he finds himself in a decent spot in 5th position. And right now, I'd say if he can't win the race, try and salvage a good points night. And that's what John's looking at here as we get ready to get restarted. The Ford Mustang pace car takes him back around the track with the lights off. Dawson, it's going to be up to Tim Szymanski to get this race restarted for the first time tonight. Will be interesting to see where Donnie gets him. Where Tim gets them started. The 07, all alone now. The pace car has left his wing. Tim Szymanski goes early. Goes right there in the middle of the turn. He gets on it. Green flag is out. He is your leader by a bunch. To get restarted there, leaves Lowell Jewell to fight with Dustin Powers. Powers gets a little Nerf bar action there with Lowell and lets him go. Now Dustin's got to deal with Donnie Moore's down on the inside. Dustin's able to get away. It's way clean, hanging on the 3rd.
Matt Szymanski into the wall. Keep it straight, though.
Jeez. Gonna have to, he may be overweight at the end of this race. Take some of that concrete out. Lowell Jewell fighting the handling, coming out of turn 4. Boy, that car was almost just sideways. He almost broke it completely sideways. It's gonna allow Dustin Powers to get by. John Hine gets by Donnie Moore just behind them. Getting a little crazy out here. Lap starting to wind down. Trouble for Hine coming out of turn 4. He slides it.
John had some speed early in the race. You saw him all the way up in 3rd, and then he spun his car, and it just didn't look the same. But we're starting to see that car come back to life.
Yeah, I think the cheese grater is starting to turn these tires into a special blend of shredded Parmesan. Boy, here it goes. Dustin Powers around. And the caution's back out. He does it in front of the whole field.
Ooh.
Boy, Powers having a lot of trouble getting that car going again. Watch it here on the replay. Nothing original here. This has been happening all night. Another victim there to the bottom part of turn 4, Dawson.
Yeah, and it looked like he was following the person he was following. It looked like he caught up to really quickly and just closed that gap. So you can see right up to his bumper and spins it.
Boy, that was a close moment for Lowell Jewell. And for Hine. Yeah, let's look at it from Hine's perspective because it was really close for him too. There he is, right behind Lowell Jewell. Yeah, boy. John's got basically the blink of a lash amount of time to make a decision there, and he avoids big trouble. Look at the front row to restart this race. You've got Tim Szymanski still leading this race. Lowell Jewell now up to 2nd. Lowell had been hanging here in a podium spot for a while. He gets one better. You'll have John Hine and Donnie Moore on that 2nd row. This will get exciting. I think we'll restart with 25 to go. Been a lot of action down on the exit of turn 4 tonight. I think we'll walk away from this evening asking ourselves, well, what did we learn? Well, we learned that turn 4, down low near the apron, not a lot of fun. Not probably the best place to race. Want to try and look for a little wider line there on the exit of turn 4. The only problem with that is what you've talked about, Dawson, is that outside wall coming up really, really quick. We could probably ask Matt Shinoski about that if we get a chance to talk to him after the race.
Yeah, he's seen that wall a time or two tonight. And I don't know if it's just been trying to push the car. He kind of runs that wide line like you were just talking about, and it's an unfair balance. How do you get the car to turn versus how do you avoid that spot? It's just tough.
When they bring him across the scales, I want to figure out exactly how much concrete he's carrying in that car. He'll need to give that back to the track before he leaves. All right, here we go. The pace car pulling off. Now, Tim did not waste any time getting him restarted this last time. And look for him to go here somewhere around the center. And no, he's a little slower. Then he goes. All right, there he goes. Tim didn't let me totally down. Gets another fast break. Lowell Jewell contending with John Hine back here. Hine slipping it down on the inside. Gets under Lowell Jewell. Jewell with his hands full here. Hine below. Chasing behind him. Brian Dean. Donnie Moore getting a run at him. It's a Hornet's Nest back here. Not for Tim Shinoski. Back into the clean air where he belongs.
How about Brian Dean? We haven't talked about him very much tonight. Now he's contending for a podium spot.
Yeah, he really is. Got to be careful here. Lowell Jewell trying to use up a lot of the track. Donnie Moore gets a run at him there. Dean hanging onto it so far here on the bottom. Lowell is going to lose that spot officially now. Matt Shinoski up on the inside of Jewell. Matt Shinoski going after a podium spot himself. Boy, Lowell Donnie's struggling with his car back there, isn't he?
Yeah, he ran a little bit wide that turn. Big checkup.
Oh, boy.
Mike Allen around. Dustin Powers.
That's going to be another caution. That's going to be another caution, unfortunately. Wow. And Mike Allen had to check up a little bit to try not to run over Matt Shinoski, and when he did, Dustin Powers really nowhere to go here. Mike in that orange and white car. You see the check up. You see Dustin Powers hit him. Loomis does a great job of just avoiding that there, getting on the binders and slowing her down. Donnie Moore had a great reaction to that. I think we're going to go on board with Donnie here. Right up here near the wall. Yeah, you see that? Ooh, it goes wide and he almost hits the wall. Just barely avoids it there. Great racecraft there by Donnie Moore avoiding that. Well, I'd say it's anybody's race here at this point. We're going to restart with, I don't know, about 18 to go, maybe 17, 18 to go. And it's really anybody's race. We haven't had any wave rounds tonight. We've had a few cautions. We've still got 8 cars currently on track. Mike Allen in the pit. Don't know how long he's going to be there. This is his second time in. I'm thinking he might have used that fast repair already, which means damage might have him in there for a while. No, Mike is back out and rolling. Okay. Well, Dawson, it's that time of the race where we like to drop down the disco ball. Turn the lights up. Put that cool disco music on, baby. It's time to boogie. Let's get this party going here. 18 laps left to go. The lights are out on the pace car. They are not out on the pace car. My bad. You know, I really think that might have something to do with... I think it has something to do with where this pit lane entry is. And maybe that, I don't know if it's a bug, but if you're not in the right position on track, maybe it keeps that pace car, sends an extra lap to it or something. I'm not quite sure, but we'll try and do a better job of catching that next time we're here.
I wonder if it's maybe because of where the pace car comes on, if guys are taking pit stops, if you start to get to the point where they can't catch back up. I wonder if iRacing programmed that in to avoid that. All hypothetical still.
All hypothetical. We have a lot of experts out there, though. A lot of keyboard expertism out there, and so we encourage you to straighten us out, okay? Tim Szymanski going to get restarted with John Hine here. This should be a good battle. Tim looking to make it 3 in a row this evening. Here we go. Pace car's off. John Hine pulled up right beside him, wheel to wheel, and Tim goes. Tim gets on the hammer quick. Think he caught John sleeping just a little bit. Tim gets a good break down into turn 1. Watch out, here comes Brian Dean fighting Hine for that spot. Lowell Jewell falling off to 4th. Oh, here comes Lowell, powering it through the middle of the turn there. Trying to get through or around Dean. Lowell going to get a tire inside as they go in through 2. Into 2 here. Hang on to it. Dean hangs on to it really well. Matt Szymanski looks to go to the inside back there. He's got to back out of it. Lowell closed the door on him. Dean going inside of Hine. David Loomis is around back here. We've got no caution flag yet. We'll catch it on the replay here. I think he had a self-spin. I'd have gotten just a little bit of help. We'll see here on the replay. I don't know. Maybe that car had started coming around by itself. Maybe Allen gets a piece of him there at the end. Loomis able to keep going, though. Does not bring out the caution flag. And he got his car down to the pit. All right. Tim Szymanski trying to work this thing out tonight. He's going to have 11 to go when he gets across the line. Tim fighting hard. Brian Dean still back here fighting for this second spot. Had a little bit of flash in his connection there.
Ooh, Jewell around.
Matt Szymanski. Looks like Matt might have got a piece of him.
Donnie gonna avoid everything.
Well, Matt had hit the wall, come back down the track. Watch this. You're going to see Matt's car track out to the wall. Now, he didn't get a piece of it, but he came across the track, and then he came back. Up in a Lowell, and boy, that did not end well. Because Dustin Powers gets caught up in that too. You see the 25 sitting up there broken. Dustin going to have to come down pit road. It's going to be a second trip in for him. Dustin just an unfortunate bystander here. Hard hit for him. Hopefully Dustin able to get down there and get that car fixed quickly. Not sure if he's got a fast repair left in him. Does not look like it. Sitting there waiting on his optional repair. Optional or required. We're not sure exactly what he's got there. Well, this race just about over. Tim Szymanski still leading. He's had this for a while. It's been a good one here. Myrtle Beach Speedway, the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation 100. Dawson, we're going to just have a small handful of laps left to go when we get restarted. What's your strategy if you're in this situation right now?
If I'm Tim Szymanski, is that... Because if I'm him, I would definitely keep doing what you've been doing. You've been getting great restarts, and it just doesn't seem like the guys behind you can keep up. I don't know. He just seems to be getting a better restart than everybody, and if you can get that, we saw his first start. His first start, he gassed it in the middle of the corner. Everybody else was still in the corner just as he was on the front stretch. That seemed to give him the biggest lead, and I would go right back to that card.
All right. Well, since we've got the lights still in the pace car, real quickly. So our special sponsor this evening, the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation. Listen, you want more information about that? Go to chriskylefrogfoundation.org. It's a .org. It's all one word, Chris, C-H-R-I-S. All right, that version of Chris. Kyle, K-Y-L-E. Chris Kyle frogfoundation.org. And their motto, honoring God, country, and families who serve. So check them out and certainly donate or get involved if you can. Great sponsor for tonight's race, though, and we come back around for what is hopefully the last restart of the night. And here we go. The pace car's off. Tim going to get him restarted here. John Hine on his outside. Tim, there he goes. Just about through the middle of turn 4, he gets on the hammer. Down the front stretch, and your leader still. 5 laps to go here. Side by side, Brian Dean, John Hine. Oh, they almost get wheels together. Matt Shinowski back there in 4th, trying to get up to the podium. Oh, Mike Allen sliding off the track back there. Oh, the battle for second is intense. Dean taking another shot at John Hine. Hine having a tricky exit off of turn 2. The side-by-side battle continues. Tim Shinowski able to keep them in the mirror. Matt Shinowski struggling in a fight with Donnie Moore. I think the effects of riding the wall. Oh, contact between Hine and Dean. And then he's in the wall and the yellow flag is out. That's going to end our race. That's going to be the final caution. It's going to allow Tim Shinowski to come across the line in the lead. And he will be our eventual race winner. Brian Dean going to slot into second. Matt Shinowski, as a result of that accident, going to slate up into third. And we have got a Shinowski podium this evening. Brian Dean. Wow, they're going to come across here and take the white flag. And Tim Shinowski is going to go 3 for 3 this evening. Get
a little bit of a Kyle Busch. Go to the World Truck Series, go to the Xfinity, and then finish it off with the Cup.
Yeah, get your hats ready, folks. Get ready to throw them if you have them. We'll pick them up at the end and try to find yours. I'm going to warn you, if I find a cool hat, I'm keeping it. So please keep any seafood in the stands. Please, we'll have no octopus on this track. Hockey fans get that, trust me. All right, so here we go. Across the line, behind this pace car, it's going to go to Tim Shinowski here at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina tonight. 100 laps. Congratulations, Tim Shinowski. You're a big winner this evening. And a hat trick for Mr. Tim Shinowski. He won the street stock race and the late model race. And now it all culminates with a big win here in the SK Modified. Tim Shinowski going to be your big winner tonight. And I guess he's not going to celebrate. Well, that's odd.
What?
Tim,
you need a picture.
Celebrate. Yeah.
We need a picture. You gotta.
All right, that's fine. If he doesn't want to celebrate, that's okay. We're going to step away for just a moment, take a quick break, come back with the complete results of this race, and looks like he is going to head back out, maybe go celebrate now. Oh, he's going to take the reverse lap here. So here we go. He's going to get an Alan Kowicki Polish lap in here for his victory celebration. But we will be back in just a moment here on the Global Sim Racing channel and iRacing Live for the race results and a couple of interviews, and we'll see you in just a moment. Wow, what a race. We're back here at Myrtle Beach Speedway here with with the Christian Family Construction Outlaw Modified Series. You just saw the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation 100, and here are your results. Tim Shinosky, your big winner tonight. He goes 3 for 3 here on a Saturday night. Brian Dean finishes second. Matt Shinosky in third. Donnie Moore finishes fourth this evening. Fifth, gonna go to Lowell Jewell. Sixth, Mike Allen. John Hine in seventh. Dustin Powers with an 8th place finish. Ninth, going to go to David Loomis. Jeff Kendrick in 10th. And JJ Garrett had connection issues early. He'll finish 11th this evening. Dawson. It was a good race. It saw Tim Shinosky, our interview from earlier, fight hard to get this victory. I got to talk to him once. I'm going to let you talk to him this time. Dawson, catch up with Tim.
All right, Tim, well, you made it happen 3 times tonight. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I wasn't really expecting to win the modified race. I've been struggling in that car the past few weeks, and I didn't really feel that confident coming into this race. I wasn't feeling too good during practice, but I guess I said before the race, just try to stay out of trouble, and I thought I'd be able to talk to you guys, and that's how it worked out.
Well, speaking of trouble, we saw a couple guys, John Hine, one of them, they kept spinning off of that low part there on turn 4. Did you see, or what do you think that was about?
I think everyone was struggling with a lack of grip coming out of the turns on the low side, especially turn 4. There's just very little grip out there. It's been like that all season with this car. I'm not really sure why, but yeah, it's just not a lot of grip. It's like you're trying to ice skate out there. So, I mean, it was definitely tough all race.
Well, take us back to your battle with Dustin Powers. You know, we saw a couple guys all night. We saw Dustin, he was able to keep it with you a little bit on the high side. And were you confident with the low side, or was there any time during the race where you're thinking maybe the top side will be where I'll be able to get around other guys?
Well, I would say I was wrong during my interview. I didn't think there would be a second groove, but there was. The outside worked a little bit. I noticed in turn 3 and 4, he was pulling away from me a little bit, and he was running a higher line. So once I was finally able, after having a great battle with him, once I got around him, I tried to run a little bit higher in turns 3 and 4, and I think it helped me.
All right, well, you were able to get the win then, and we were all watching you as you took it into pit lane, and almost like you forgot where victory lane is, but you've won a couple times. What happened there?
Yeah, I just wasn't thinking about just winning the race, so yeah, I had to go down pit lane and then turn around. I did the same thing in the late model race, just slipped my mind, but I found victory lane eventually.
All right, well, congratulations. You want to thank your sponsors or any of that?
Yeah, I just want to thank Christian Family Construction for sponsoring our series and being able to have a broadcast with you guys. Lowell Jewell for running the league, and all the guys I get to race with. There's a good group of racers right now who race you hard but race you clean, and that always makes things a lot more fun.
All right, thanks for stopping by. That's Tim Shinosky, tonight's winner here at Myrtle Beach.
All right, and I've caught up with Brian Dean. Brian, that was an exciting race. You know what? You fought pretty hard. I know you started 5th. You get here on the podium, but it did not come without battling several drivers in this field. Tell us a little bit about your run tonight.
Yeah, it was up and down, to say the least. It was going really good up until the end there. I like to have finished the race side by side with John at the end. I don't know exactly what happened, but other than that, yeah, I was tough trouble getting through it twice.
Well, I'll tell you what, this track, it seems to be a little tricky. What's the biggest trick to this one for you?
Well, I was running all right, just about a half a lane up, and then you could feel confident getting on the gas coming out of 4, but when we got into traffic during the race, when you're on the high side, you're worried about getting the wall, and when you're on your low side, you're worried about spinning out. So getting through 3 and 4 was the key.
Well, hey, listen, We know everybody likes to thank a sponsor or two. Who would you like to thank tonight, my friend?
Just Loomis for his Christian Family Construction, and you guys for commentating the races, and that's about it.
All right, Brian. Well, again, congratulations. Go celebrate this one with the kiddos there in the background, and we appreciate talking to you, and we'll hopefully get to talk to you again next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Brian Dean, second place tonight. And, Dawson, I'll let you talk to the other Shinosky. It's Matt Shinosky in the booth with us now.
All right, Matt. Well, you had a little bit of a struggle during the race. You were able to fight back. What happened?
Well, it was a struggle. Car just wasn't very fast tonight, or the driver wasn't very fast tonight, but I was just able to survive. And I had a good good couple restarts at the end there, and I was able to dodge all the wrecks and somehow managed to end up third, but I definitely wasn't that fast.
Well, you were second in practice, and I figured, you're a Shinosky, you're pretty fast, you're a points leader. I mean, why not? I was going to pick you, and then you kind of caught up into a little bit of trouble, but you were able to fight and keep fighting. We saw, though, you were struggling with your car. Was there just a lack of grip out on the track?
Yeah, I mean, it was like ice out there the whole time. I think everyone was struggling with it. You saw all the spins, the self-spins, but I was just trying to drive conservatively, just trying to keep it going straight, and I let people pass me, but it worked out all right in the end.
Absolutely. Third place finish, nothing to sniff at. So, all here throughout the race, battling. Where were you liking to stay? We saw some guys battle on the high side, some on the low side, and it seemed pretty even. Where were you seeming to find the most success?
I probably enjoyed the high side a little more. The two ends of the tracks are so different. I could run the bottom in 1 and 2, but not in 3 and 4. But it's just such a challenging track.
Well, you are a points leader, and I think with the third place finish, you should still be up there. We're going to take it next week. Do you know where we're going?
Yeah, I don't. No, I don't.
I'm trying to scroll quick because I was going to ask this question.
Going to Five Flags this week.
All right. How do you feel about that?
Five Flags is a really fun track. I enjoy that place. It's very fast. So, home of the Snowball Derby. So it'll be fun.
All right. Well, we can't wait to see you there. You got any people you want to thank quick?
Yeah, I just want to thank Lowell and all the guys at in the Bootleg Racing League, Christian Family Construction for sponsoring our series, and that's a huge help, and the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, and Matt Shinosky, your third place finisher tonight.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Matt. And the Shinoskys have been really, really hot this season. And a return trip to the top of the podium for Tim. Did it 3 times tonight. Second time in the modifieds this season, Dawson. It's time to wrap this thing up. But first, I want to remind everybody how to get in touch with the Bootleg Racing League. BootlegRacingLeague.com, where they are still accepting applications for their street stock and limited late model series. You want to be a modified driver? Well, you got to run one of those series first and earn your chops and get your way up to the modifieds, because it's an invite only. And the man, Lowell Jewell, got to sign off on that. So, BootlegRacingLeague.com. You want more information about maybe attaching your name to the league for sponsorship? BootlegRacingLeague.com/sponsorship. You can also find them on social media, BootlegRacingLeague.com, at Facebook there. Now, we want to thank the Bootleg Racing League and Christian Family Construction Service for allowing us to cover them and this race tonight. For more information about the Bootleg Racing League, as I said, find them on their website or on Facebook there. We want to thank the companies, equipment, and software that you see on your screen and that we use on our broadcasts. The original music you've heard on this broadcast is thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. For more information about all GSRC events, go to globalsimracingchannel.com. Go to our YouTube page, subscribe. We've got an archive of races there and races coming up. We also have our social media accounts, Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook, Just type in Global Sim Racing Channel. You'll find us. You're seeing the upcoming races we've got going on, and for other series here on GSRC, check those out. Mark them down on your calendar. Next week, the Christian Family Construction Outlaw Modified Series takes a quick trip south to Florida and Five Flag Speedway for another 100 laps of open wheel-to-wheel action. Catch us starting at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time on iRacing Live and the Global Sim Racing Channel. Now, remember, at 2 a.m., turn those clocks back an hour. We're getting one back, folks. Don't forget that tonight. For Dougie Beard, Joe Peak, and Dawson, never say die, Brock. I'm Sean Ambrose, turning the lights off and putting the lock on the gate. Race clean, race hard, and I'll see you on the track.